All right, we're back. Now, before this bracketology starts, I want to mention the schedule for this week. Here's what I want to do. Today's Sunday, bracketology. Monday and Tuesday, I think we're going to do conference tournaments. Wednesday, bracketology. Thursday, something. Friday, bracketology. Saturday night is like one of the big bracketology nights. Saturday night, we do like a midnight live stream, and it'll be fun. We did it last year. But there will be probably 2, if not 3, bracketologies this week. Because this is like the 1 week where bracketology is just like king. Like, this is what the whole year of bracketology has come to. But let's start with this. Let's start with these next updates. So, we got to start with Indiana. They lost to Purdue. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that loss really hurt them that much because Purdue's a top 5 team, and like they're a top 5 team, and IU really hung with them. IU actually looked good in that game. I mean, they were down in that game, came back. I mean, they actually looked like a competent team. But I mean, it would have been nice to get a win there. It's not a big deal, I think, that they didn't. Here's what I think it's eventually going to come down to. When they play Michigan in the first round of the Big Ten tournament. That is basically Judgment Day for both Michigan and Indiana. I think whoever wins that game is getting in the tournament. Whoever loses that game is not getting in the tournament because Michigan also got a big win over Ohio State today, who has been looking bad. Ohio State's been looking really bad. We'll get to them later. So I have Indiana out, Michigan in. I still have Rutgers in. Xavier has been falling, man. They keep losing games. If they lose any more, they might be out of the tournament. So they really need to get their act together. All right, so, and then Memphis looked dominant against Houston today. They looked great. So I have them in, and they might be able to come up. Getting bumped out was SMU. I think SMU and Memphis are in a similar spot that IU and Michigan are, because they're probably going to have to play themselves in the AAC tournament. And whoever wins that game or whoever goes farther might get that nod. Knocking on the door, but would need a miracle, or Oregon, BYU, and Virginia Tech. I think they're pretty much out at this point. They still, technically can get in if they really impress. BYU can't. BYU lost to San Francisco, so they don't have any more games to play. So, I think BYU's done. I don't think BYU's going to get in. But we'll have to see. Let's get to some picks. I'm going to take Gonzaga. Obviously, Ohio State lost to Nebraska. Now, they're not the only ones. Get to you later, Wisconsin. But they haven't looked good, man. They really haven't looked good. I'm going to take TCU. You know we got to take South Dakota State, man. You know we got to do it. Of course we got to do it. Easy. SDAC, baby. South Dakota State. Arkansas did lose to Tennessee. But that was a really good game. I can't really fault Arkansas too much for that one. They were down big in that game, came back. You're not going to win every game. It's not like they got blown out, or they were getting blown out, but they did end up coming back. It looks pretty good. I'm going to take Wyoming over USC. USC lost to UCLA and didn't really look good in that game. Still like Wyoming. Wyoming got a win over Fresno State in overtime, and they needed that one. They were falling near the first 4 out range. I think with that win, you can safely put Wyoming in the tournament. As long as they don't sell in the Mountain West tournament, they should be okay. I think Purdue will beat Chattanooga. All right, who else we got? I think Boise State will beat Miami. Boise State lost to Colorado State, although I think that was... I'm forgetting when these games were played, so you might have heard about these games in the last bracketology. Texas State was supposed to be here. They got upset by Louisiana Lafayette. So now the favorite to win that conference tournament, the Sun Belt, is App State. They will lose to Kansas, though. Kansas and Ochai Abaji are a dangerous team. Watch out for them. Arizona picked up a win against who they beat. Yeah, they beat some meandering Pac-12 team. I'm taking Creighton. I'm telling you, pick against Iowa State. Whatever you do, pick against Iowa State. They're not a good team. Oh, see, North Texas lost to UTEP on UTEP's senior day. So, man. I'm going to go with Texas just because North Texas suffered that loss. I still love North Texas, but I want to see them win a few more games before I get back on the train. I mean, that's a 50-50 right now, but I'm going to switch it up and take Texas. I'm going to take Providence over Toledo. All right, we're going to take Colorado State, who's looking better and better each day. They're 24-4. They're poised up for a big run. Wisconsin, they probably had the worst possible outcome you could have had over the weekend. Not only did they lose to the worst team in the Big Ten, a team that's 9-21, Nebraska. Johnny Davis, I think they said he sprained his ankle or fractured something. I think it was an ankle sprain. And what I saw is if it's a mild sprain, he could be out 1 to 2 weeks. Which means he would right now the NCAA tournament is in 11 days. So if it's a minor sprain, he could be back for the start of the tournament. They said if it's like a severe sprain, he could be out for 6 to 8 weeks. Which means his season is over. So Wisconsin's got to really hope that it was a minor sprain. But the prospect of them not having one of their best players is not good. And that's why I wanted Illinois to lose so badly, because with them losing, if they would have won, they would have secured sole possession of the Big Ten regular season title. They had already clinched a share. Them losing left the door open for Illinois, who went out and beat Iowa by 2 and claimed a share of the Big Ten regular season title. And Illinois gets the 1 seed. And now if Indiana beats Michigan, they have to play Illinois instead. So I don't like the momentum. And not to mention, do you know who kicked some ass today? Was Longwood. They secured the Big South tournament title against Winthrop, and that game wasn't even close. They dominated that game, the whole game. And anything can happen in March. I love if I'm taking an upset, I'm taking one for a team that might not have their best player against a team that just looked amazing in their conference title game. There's always a 14 seed that wins. It was, Abilene Christian last year? Believe in it, baby. Longwood. By the way, if you have a star next to your name, that means you are officially in the tournament, no questions asked. That means you won your conference and got an automatic bid. There's only 3. It's Longwood, Loyola, and Murray State. We're going to take Michigan State, who picked up a win over Maryland today. I'll take them over Wake. Now, Jacksonville. This is an interesting development. Bellarmine, is new to Division I as of, I think, last year. They weren't allowed to play in their conference tournament last year. They are allowed to play in their conference tournament this year, and they beat Liberty. And Jacksonville upset Jacksonville State. But here's the thing. Bellarmine can't compete in the NCAA tournament because they haven't been in Division I for a certain amount of years, which is the dumbest thing in the entire world. Why? Why is that a rule? It doesn't benefit anyone. You going to bed? All right, good night.
Good night. That goes in your closet.
Okay. Good night. All right. Hold on. I gotta switch Maryland. But that's so dumb that they can't compete in any tournaments. If they're good enough, why aren't you letting them? That's just stupid. So, but here's the thing. So if Jacksonville wins, if they beat Bellarmine, then Jacksonville gets in. If Bellarmine wins, it doesn't go to Jacksonville. It goes to the regular season champ, which would be Jacksonville State. So Jacksonville State, who just got upset by their biggest rival, has to root for them to win the conference tournament. Has to root for them to lose so they can make it. So Bellarmine can help out Jacksonville State pretty much. I hope that made sense. Auburn over Long Beach. San Diego State. I gotta take San Diego State over Seton Hall. San Diego State's been playing better now. They've been looking pretty good. St. Mary's, still high on them. Loyola won their conference. I tried to move Loyola to 11. I had no room to move them. The next bracketology, they probably will be higher, 10 or 11 maybe, possibly 10. I couldn't find a good place to move them to, so I just kind of stuck them at a 12. Illinois just got the big win over Iowa. Looked good doing it. And there's Iowa. Iowa did look good in that game, and they had been hot riding into that game. They had won like 9 of their last 10. I will be taking them. They had been looking good. Texas Tech. Okay, they lost to Oklahoma State. They went on a 9-minute scoreless drought in the second half. They got a 3 with 9 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the second half. They didn't score until there were 30 seconds left in the game. Still going to take them over Towson, but that did not look good out of Tech. That was not a good performance out of Texas Tech. That's cause for concern. Definitely taking Murray over Notre Dame. Just beat Morehead State. Survived a close one, but they're 30-2, man. I'm going to take the Starlight. I mean, they're 30-2. Definitely taking Murray. And Duke. I'm going to talk more about Duke when we get to the second round game because I am very intrigued by the possibility of Murray State versus Duke. Baylor, I think, will beat Seattle. UNC spoiled Coach K's last game, and here's what I saw. People were like, oh, the Duke players couldn't handle the pressure of Coach K's last game. It's like that game had too much pressure on them. Okay, yes, it was a big game. It was a rivalry game. It was Coach K's last home game. Obviously, there were a lot of people there. But if you can't handle the pressure of a regular season game, how are you going to handle the pressure of a tournament game? If that's your excuse for Duke losing is they can't handle the pressure, what's the tournament going to do to them? Now, I have VCU at a 12 for one reason and one reason only, and it's that I think they're going to win the A10 tournament. Because I don't think VCU will be able to get in unless they win the A10 tournament or impress in the A10 tournament. If they make the championship of the A10 or if they look really good in the A10 tournament, they can make it. So, but if VCU doesn't look very good, poof, they're gone and another team is going to get in. But I am high on VCU. I think they will win their conference. That's my pick to win the A10 is VCU. That's a little preview for the A10 bracketology. The A10 bracket picks. Because the A10 is going to have a lot of impact on the bubble. And Houston did not look good today. They got straight up outplayed by Memphis. And they've been struggling recently. Rams. Take UCLA over Montana State. I think Alabama would beat. I know they just lost to Texas A&M, but I think they're better than both those teams. Oh no! You know what? Fine. We're just gonna keep this same conference matchup. Sorry, guys, but I think Tennessee would win. Yeah, Tennessee. Oh man, I got LSU over here. I'm not taking them though. San Francisco. Love the Dons. Looked good. Looked really good against BYU. In what was kind of a playing game. If San Francisco would have lost that game to BYU, they would have had the exact same record as BYU. And BYU would have had that last little edge. So the fact that San Francisco won that game was great, and I think you could pretty much secure their tournament spot. San Francisco, you're dancing. And they will play Gonzaga tomorrow. If they could pull off that upset, that'd be pretty interesting. We'll see. Villanova against Purdue Fort Wayne. We'll take Villanova. How long? I feel like this video is getting kind of long. 14. It's about the standard length. We're going to take Gonzaga over TCU. We're going to take the Hogs. We're going to take Purdue. And we're going to take Kansas. Some chalk here in this region. Don't worry. There won't be any more chalk the rest of this. I've been eyeing up some possible upsets. It's not going to be Arizona, though. And I'm going to take Texas. I think Texas would have a harder time with North Texas than they would Providence. Texas looked pretty good against Kansas. They lost in overtime. That was a great hard-fought game. Ooh. 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 We're going to take Colorado State. Nice little 6-14 matchup. But I think Colorado State would win. I like Longwood. I'll tell you, don't sleep on Longwood. They looked damn good today. And we'll take Kentucky. Back up to the top. We're taking Auburn. And I'm still going to rock with St. Mary's. You're not going to see much change in the bracket. There's not much change. There was enough that changed to make a new video, but like some regions are almost the exact same. I'm taking Iowa. They looked really good. They impressed against Illinois, even though they lost. They've been looking great. And Texas Tech really made egg. Murray. Taking Murray because Duke looked bad against North Carolina. And, you can't handle the pressure of your coach's last home game. Not just his last game, his last home game. How are you going to handle the pressure of a tournament game? Now, I don't know. That was the excuse that I saw hanging around. Murray State's an experienced team. They play as a team. And they love to run it up and down, man. Spelling an upset. Not high on the Duke train this year. They've been inconsistent and lost some games they shouldn't have. Baylor, I still think too good for North Carolina. I'll take UCLA. Who are the Rams? Tennessee. I think better than Alabama. And Villanova over the Dons. Next. I'm going to stick with it. I picked this game last episode. I'm going to pick it again. Hogs. I'm telling you. And I'm going to switch this one. I'm going to take Kansas instead. I took Purdue last episode. I'm going to take Kansas this episode. Kansas, you can't count out Bill Self. And Ochai Abaji's a stud. I'm not counting out Kansas by any stretch of the imagination. Arizona, I think, would be able to beat Texas. And Colorado State over Kentucky. Because that's a veteran team right there. That's a veteran team, Colorado State. Against a young team like Kentucky, I like the possible edge that they would have. And Colorado State, if they can come in with some momentum after a good Mountain West tournament, watch out for the Rams. I've kind of slept on them all year. I've given them a lot of credit, but I'm really starting to like what I see out of Colorado State. I'm going to switch. I'm not going to take St. Mary's. I'm going to take Auburn. It'd be a great game. I took St. Mary's last time. This is kind of a coin flip for me because St. Mary's looks so good. We'll see if they can beat Gonzaga again in the West Coast Conference Championship if they can get there. But yeah, they play Santa Clara, I think, or unless they lost. See, Santa Clara is an interesting team that I think people need to watch because they were the 3 seed in the thing. Yeah, they beat Portland 91. So Santa Clara's 21-10. If they beat St. Mary's, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take out St. Bonaventure. And I'm going to do something real quick. Hold on. If Santa Clara beats BYU, or not BYU, if they beat St. Mary's, that would put them at 22-10 with a really good win, and they'd be playing Gonzaga for a West Coast Conference title. Obviously, if they win the conference, they're in. But let's say they beat St. Mary's, and then they hold it close against Gonzaga but lose. Is that enough to put him in? I don't know. We'll have to see. But keep your eye on that game tomorrow. That starts at 11:30 Eastern time on a school night. Come on, ESPN, man. Why are you scheduling these games so late, man? People have things to do. But keep your eye on that game. Santa Clara could mess some stuff up for some teams. Murray. Give me Murray. They're 30-2 for a reason. They played Auburn earlier in the year and lost by, I think 10. So, possible rematch there. Baylor would win. And, hold on. And then Tennessee and Villanova. I'm going to take Villanova. Not kind of got a Jay Wright coach team. They're clicking at the right time, and to be in all honesty, flying under the radar. They're clicking at the right time. They're kind of flying under the radar. Keep your eye on Villanova. They look dangerous right now. Arkansas and Kansas. I'm going to take Kansas. Bill Self, Ochai Baji, all the studs they have. Great team. Great team in Kansas. And I picked Arkansas last time and they lost. So, I still love Arkansas. I still think they're a great team. But it'd be hard for me to pick them again after what I just saw. So, Kansas is our first team. Colorado, I don't think Colorado. I think the run is going to end for Colorado State. Give me Zona. Give me Zona. I've been skeptical of Arizona all year, but I've kind of thrown that away. I've kind of been on the Arizona train recently. Next, Murray. Ooh. See, I'll tell you why I think Murray State could win this game. It would be... Now, I wouldn't pick Murray State against Baylor. I wouldn't pick them against Gonzaga. I wouldn't pick them against Arizona. The reason I think they could beat Auburn, and only Auburn, is because they played Auburn already this year, and they're somewhat familiar with them. And familiarity helps the team that lost in the first game. I'm going to hold off on that. I'm going to pick the next one. I'm going to take Villanova. Because here's what I thought about Baylor. In order to repeat as a national champion, you have to be better the second year you have to be better the next year than you were the first. And I don't think Baylor is better than they were last year. I mean, they were amazing last year, but I don't think they're not better this year than they were last year. And think about it, Villanova lost to them in the tournament last year. Revenge game. Nova. Okay. Do I want to do it? See, here's the thing. People are going to hate on this. But think about it. There's always that one whack team that makes the Final Four every year that no one picked. Last year it was UCLA. That one year it was Syracuse. It was Loyola that one year. South Carolina made a Final Four. I don't know how, but they did. There's always that one team. And with the familiarity with Auburn, they can make the adjusted changes that they need to. Racers to the Final Four. They're better this year than they were when they had John Morant. They're better in every statistical category than when they had John Morant. Because part of the reason being is that they're more well-rounded this year. And they were great when they had John Morant. John Morant was just dunking all over the place and doing all that stuff. They're more well-rounded this year. They are dangerous, man. I mean, I'm telling you. Murray. Look at this. Okay, blue blood, Murray State. All right. I'm going to take Arizona over Kansas. They look great. I like what I see at Arizona. And I'm going to take Villanova over Murray. Sorry, Murray State. Your road ends here. And then to win the national title game, I said there's only 4 teams that are in the top 20 in offense and defense. And they're Gonzaga. I think it's Gonzaga, Arizona. It's Gonzaga, Arizona, Baylor, and Houston. And I have my reserves about Baylor, Houston. I like Arizona. This bracket, I feel like in more years than most, is wide open. This bracket is wide open. Anyone can. It is up for grabs. Like last year, you were like, okay, it's going to be either Gonzaga or Baylor or maybe Illinois or Michigan, and like maybe Houston or like there were only like 4 teams that people really gave a chance to. Everyone and their mother was picking either Gonzaga or Baylor, or Illinois, like me. Illinois ended up getting upset. Gonzaga, Baylor made the title game. This year, I mean, I wouldn't call you crazy if you picked Gonzaga. I wouldn't call you crazy if you picked Auburn. I wouldn't call you crazy if you picked Arizona or Baylor or Duke or Kansas or Kentucky or any of these teams. I feel like at Tennessee, Wisconsin, Purdue. I feel like this year more than most, there are so many good teams. I mean, not that there are so many more good teams, but I feel like the talent level is like last year it was like Gonzaga, Baylor, Illinois, and then everyone else. This year it's kind of like you've got Gonzaga, Auburn, Arizona, Kentucky, Baylor, Houston, Kansas. They're all right. Duke. They're all up in there. I mean, there are probably at least 12 teams that you could pick for the national title, and people be like, I can see that. And in most years, you can't say that. But I'm going to go with Arizona in this one. It'll probably end up being changed by next week, but here's the bracket. Hope you like it. Try to sprinkle Salt Bay some upsets in there. I hope you guys liked it. Yeah. See you next time on Bracketology.